There are a lot of metrics that your support team can track and can be evaluated on. And in this video, I want to show you a few that you may not be aware of, but also offer a fresh perspective on which ones should be prioritized and how you can make the most out of those. I'm going to start with the most obvious one that everyone knows, which is CSAT, Customer Satisfaction Score. CSAT is pretty straightforward. You ask customers to rate their recent interaction with your support team or how happy they are with the product in general on a scale from 1 to 5, and you consider satisfied customers, those rating you 4 and 5. So the way you calculate this metric is to look at the number of satisfied customer over the total number of customer that replied to the survey times 100. CSAT is a great metric to give an idea of how happy your customer base is, specifically after a recent interaction with your support team, but it also has some limits. One metric that is coming more and more teams are starting to prioritize is customer effort score. Customer effort score tracks how your customers are perceiving the effort that they need to put in order for their request to be satisfied. So to give you an example, if you're asking a lot of questions to your customers, asking them to send screenshot, asking them all sorts of things just to gain context even before you start to solve their issue, that's very frustrating, and it means that you're asking a lot out of your customers in order to being able to handle their request and to solve their issues. So a lot of companies are starting to look more at the customer effort score, as it's one of the metrics that helps you the most when it comes to understanding how efficiently you're solving issues and how easy you're making it for customers to talk to your team, and ultimately how positive the experience is. There are a lot of more metrics that can help your team when it comes to tracking performance. So one of them is first response time, which tracks the time that goes between a support request being submitted and the first time an agent gets back to the customer. Time is a precious resource to your customers, so definitely the faster you're able to get back to them, the happier they will be. First contact resolution rate is another interesting metric, especially for technical support teams or for scenarios where you have more complex requests, and basically it simply tracks the number of requests that are solved by the first agents that these requests were assigned to. In scenarios where a lot of tickets get escalated to higher support tiers or to technical teams, this is a good metric to understand. Average handle time is another interesting metric. It's often applied to the phone channel, but it could really apply to any channel, and it tracks the time spent during customer interactions plus additional follow-up tasks. So if we apply to the phone channel, that would be the time spent during support calls, plus hold time if there is any, plus follow-up task to complete the request. There are a lot of more metrics out there. One thing that is important to specify is to not rely too much on industry benchmarks, but to understand that these metrics can be heavily impacted by the channels that you're using and the kind of requests that are coming through. I want to give you a basic example. If you're in a scenario where you're able to automate simple requests, you implement, let's say, some chatbot solution to handle your most basic request, or you're improving your knowledge center so some basic requests don't come through because users are able to find the answer beforehand, that might lead to your average handle time going up, because all of a sudden simple requests are handled automatically and you're getting requests that are more complex, higher impact, and generally would take longer time to resolve. So that's not a bad thing. That means you're actually doing something right, even if that metric, it's a bit counterintuitive, is going up. So everything you're tracking should be put into context to avoid looking at the wrong things or misinterpreting the data. So you need to first collect the data. That's priority number one, but priority number two is to be able to correctly understand it, make good use of it, and actually help that data drive your team forward, improve your processes, and ultimately create better support and better customer experiences. That's all. We have some resources linked down here, including a handy spreadsheet with a lot of customer metrics. So make sure to check that out, and I hope to see you all soon.